the parallel processing in Ab initio. So parallel processing is a very important feature in Ab initio, which makes it very different from any contemporary ETL tools. So parallel processing is achieved in many ways in Ab initio. We are going to see what are the different ways in Ab initio, which makes use data processing in a parallel way or in a simultaneous way and in a very speedy way. So let's talk about. So there are three major kind of parallelism in Ab initio. One is component parallelism, where component parallelism, and second one is pipeline parallelism, and third one is data parallelism. So we are going to take one by one each of these three parallelism, and we will take a few example within each of those, so that you can relate your graph design with these design and see how you can achieve the parallelism. And if you have any queries related to for a specific issues, or maybe you might be facing some issues while configuring the these kind of parallelism, or you want to take advantage of any of those parallelism, then you can go ahead and comment in the comment section, and I would reply to those questions. Okay. Now let's talk about the component parallelism. So component parallelism, let's talk about the definition. So how we can achieve component parallelism is the component parallelism where program components execute simultaneously on different branches of a graph. So as a graph is it's a diagram which constitutes the components and the flows. So various components are connected through flows from the initial stage to the target stage. So that makes it as a graph. So if different branches of a graph are uh, running parallelly, then it means it's a component parallelism. So various components within a different branches are running parallelly. Okay, so this component parallelism could be seen or could be achieved in different ways. So one ways could be where we have different multiple input data sets, and we are feeding the data into the parallelly into the different branches of the graphs. So let's look at the example number one. Okay, where we have various data streams. So whether it's a CSV, comma separated values, we are reading from one of the feed where source stream is supplying the comma separated values, this Excel sheet or spreads, CSV format files. And another one is Salesforce. We are hooking up to the Salesforce cloud. We have components available which can hook up to the Salesforce cloud to unload the data. And one could be from internet, so web services. We have web services component available which can connect to the internet and get the data. So these various data are coming in and we are feeding, and the use case is like we are getting the data from various sources, and for respective after respective process for each of the data stream, we need to merge the data. So basically, we need to make the data in as a load ready file in a target in a uniform target way. So we have uniform data sets, target data sets. Probably we have a one table, or maybe maybe this revenue data we are receiving from different sources, and we need to process it before merging the data. So these components like CSV and then reformat and other processing part, and is running parallelly the Salesforce reformat other logic. Okay, and that is also is running in parallel with web services and reformat. So these branches, three branches are running in parallel and in isolated way. Okay, up till the merge component process. So merge component will take the data from these streams, and then after there won't be a component parallelism after merge component. Okay, before that we can simultaneously unload the data from various data sources. This is one way. So you could relate this component parallelism or this use case to your use cases and maybe you can compare the things. Second way is so we have one input data sets, and uh, we have to process those data sets, and we need to write two data sets. Let's say we are getting the data from various region, maybe as Asia Pacific region, American region, North American region, and we have to prepare the two data sets to send to the two different clients. So in such scenarios, what we would do is, I mean, we have to take advantage of component parallelism. So we would use the partition by expression component, and partition by expression, depending upon the expression, it will it will divide your data. So one flow, the Asia Pacific flow will go to the RO reformat one, and the North American region will go to the two. So after partition by expression, these two flows, right? So they will be running in parallel. Hence, we have a component parallelism here, to get the data set one and data set two in parallelly. Okay. So this is one another kind of scenario where on the flow we would connect one component and get the two branches of the graphs running in parallel. And the third also is a similar way, like we have a replicate component. We are getting the data from input stream, or on the fly in the flow within the graph, and we have to process the data one to load into the one of the database probably, and one could be the data set. Maybe it's XML or a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, or probably the JSON data set we need to write, or maybe we need to send the data to the SFTP third parties, or probably the Xway. Xway is another file transfer protocol. Okay, so this could be one another scenario where after replicate we have to achieve the component parallelism in our processing. So this is another example, and there are various ways where we can have a I mean, reformat with the multiple ports, or multiple output ports. So if we that in reformat we could supply various ports, maybe two or more than two. So by default it comes with one, and it's not a multi-reformat. It is a reformat with multiple ports, multiple output ports. That could be possible, that when you supply, count as a two or more than two. So and also the conditioning could be done in the output index or output indexes. Depending upon certain condition, we can route the data to the various ports. So that way also we could achieve, one flow goes to preparing the data set, another flow for other database. Okay, or maybe some other logic, or in the fourth flow we could have count of the records, and then again we can merge or fuse the data, fuse the flows. Okay, so this is another scenarios where we can achieve the after this reformat we will have a component parallelism. And another is we have input data sets, and from the input data set we have a different branch opening from the input port. Okay, output from the input data sets, and from there itself we will have a different branches running in parallel. So we want, in this scenario we will not use replicate. We just connect the the flows to the input data set. We don't have to replicate the flow. So this is the way we achieve the component parallelism. So let's talk about another kind of parallelism in ab initio, which is called as a pipeline parallelism. So pipeline parallelism is occurs when several connected program components. We are going to see these in examples afterwards. So several connected program components on the same branch of a graph executing simultaneously. So, so if you look at the example number one, so if I say reformat is also running and it's doing some processing, and at the same time normalize two is running and it's doing some operations on the particular data set, and at the same time it's scanning and probably putting the data into the output data sets. If all the components are doing some or the operations on a particular data set, then we could see that it's a pipeline. It's a pipeline of the data. We are feeding the data from input data sets, and this first data set, let's say we have 10 records, and when first record is passed through reformat, and it went into the normalize and then scan, and if I could say so, the first record has been received by output data set after all these three stage processing, and the second record is under, let's say, scan. Scan is doing operations on the second record, and third record is processed by normalized component, and the fourth record is processed by reformat component, and fifth record is just going out from the input data sets. So if you visualize like this, then we could see that something is happening from all the components in parallel, you know, for a particular data sets. So this way we can say that it's a pipeline parallelism. So there are this is a perfect example of pipeline parallelism, where all the components are equipped or capable of processing data in sequence in parallel. Okay. So, but there are various components which, because due to limitations, they could break the this kind of setup. So if we talk about sort component and the in-memory components like roll up and join. So what happens in sort and roll up is sort has to sort the data, because if you are supplying the millions of records, and you want to sort those million record based on some key. So sort component doesn't know that where the particular key record would be there in your input data sets. So it has to wait for the entire data sets. Okay. So until and unless the last record of the input data set does not receive by sort of sort. Until that, a sort cannot say that I have sorted the data for a particular group and I can release the data for the downstream processing. Therefore, sort has to sort has to manage its algorithm in such a way, or it has to manage its memory in such a way that it can hold the memory, or probably if a record set is used or a data set is used, it can spill to the disk. So this will degrade the performance, and so it basically it will break the pipeline actually. So once the sorting has happened, then after it can supply the data so in sorted way to the roll up, and then these components can do in parallel. So up till sort, I mean, and this this obviously, because it's not nothing like sort is some issues in that, but sort has to do many things which is required, so therefore it will break the pipeline parallelism in that respect. Okay. So you can relate, the things in various ways or in various things. Okay. So let's talk about the example number 3, where we have input data set and reformat and then roll up, which is unsorted, meaning we are sorting in memory. And then there is another some processing, and we are getting the output data set. And I have joined this connected this flow, right? So input I have connected. So let's assume that here it is a replicate component, and I have a sort component, then roll up, and some other processing on output data set. So let's compare these two flows. So what is happening is we have in the upper flow we have a roll up, in memory roll up. So what is in memory roll up is partly will break the pipeline parallelism. Because it has to, because roll-up operations also performed only on sorted data sets. So it has to sort the data sets, until all the records it uh, doesn't get, it will not rolled up, or it cannot release those records. So therefore, in-memory sorted components, roll up and join. These also would break the pipeline parallelism. And in the lower flow, we are giving so sort component will break the parallelism. We know after sort component, whenever it supplies to the roll up and then some other processing, right? So the roll up component will not break the pipeline parallelism because it got the sorted data from the sort component, and for that group, it will do the operations because it so up till that point, it may break because for a particular group, whenever that key change happens, then it can release the record for the downstream some other processing component or the downstream component to process the data. Okay, so up till I mean, partly it I mean for instance, it could seems that it's holding up the records until the so but that's the inherent property of the rollup, because up till it doesn't process the group record on the basis of key, it cannot release the records. So therefore, after sort, there won't be any break of pipeline parallelism in the lower flow, but in upper flow, because the rollup has to do sorting as well, it will going to break the pipeline parallelism. So this is the pipeline parallelism, and now let's talk about the data parallelism. So which is uh, this is also important topic. So this is the third topic, and which is very important. Data parallelism. Whenever we talk about data parallelism, it comes with various other related concepts. So how we achieve the data parallelism. So for data parallelism to be achieved, we need MFS, where the components, where the components will be processed. Okay, and if we talk about the MFS, then there are partitioning will come into picture, and whenever we talk about partitioning, then the related topic skew will come into picture, and the various data flows, right? Fan in, fan out flows, straight flows, all to all flows, and finally the layout. Okay. So these and what kind of layout we have, So these things will come into mind, or in a data parallelism concept. So let's try to dig into that. Let's try to dig into that data parallelism first of all. Okay, and then we will talk about these various concepts quickly, one by one. So data parallelism occurs when a graph separates data into multiple divisions. So graph will be separating the data into multiple divisions and allowing multiple copies of program component to operate on the data in all the divisions simultaneously. So what will happen is a particular component will be running. If you say so, I mean it will run the several copies of its kind and simultaneously, and maybe on the same server, or probably on the same different directory, or maybe one copy of it is running on one host computer, or another computer, or probably on maybe one copy of its running on some cloud, or probably SDFS node. Okay. So this division is called partitions. Okay. So I said that let's talk about this this sort component. When we talk about sort component is running on two ways parallel. So that means there are two copy of sort components. One is running on one node or one server or one directory, and another one is running on probably on one another directory, or maybe another partition of the single multi-file system, or maybe running on another computer, or another Hadoop system, maybe Hadoop node, or maybe one is running on here, one is running on the cloud cloud host. Okay, so in that way, the sort has, or the Ab initio has divided the data between two components, so that those can be running in parallel, and they are doing their own thing in isolated way, both the parallel components. And finally we can receive the data through the flow parallelly. Okay, so this is the kind of Hadoop kind of setup, or if you call it as a Scala engine. So the Hadoop system also does the same thing. So the map, it will do the mapping first and then reduce, map reduce processing. So in the similar lines, so this also, Ab initio also does the same division and then processing, and then and accumulating into the flow. So we talked about the MFS. So now the MFS comes. MFS is a multi-file system. So wherein we will have a set of directories. If we talk about two ways, then will be two set of directories. Okay, different directories within the multi-file system. We could have 8 ways multiple. We will have 8 set of directories, or 8 set of files within this file system. So these each file system is called partitions. So if you talk about two-way MFS, then there will be two parts partitions, and if you go to 8-way, then will be eight files, or 8-way file system. 8 different locations in the host computer. Okay, so let's talk about the first example. So first example is reading the serial data sets. Now we will call it the serial data sets. Means it's a simple files, one directory file, one file location. The URL is specified as a file column. So it's a serial data set. Okay. Now then we are partitioning the. So we will need the partitioning component. Okay, partitioning and departitioning component when we talk about data parallelism most of the time. We would need that. Okay. Then we why we use partition by components is to make serial into the parallel, or maybe from the one way of parallelism to another way of parallelism. Let's say two-way parallel data we are having, or we want to achieve 4-way, then, or maybe we have a data in a partitioned in a different key K1, and we want to partition to the different key, then we will use the partition by key components. Okay, so partition by key component running on serial layout, and it will, and we have a sort component thereafter, and then there is a join process, and then the reformat process, and then there is a two-way multi-file system as a output data sets. So I have circled these circle things, and these dotted lines. So this output port of partition by k component, and this is circle is an input port of sort component, and likewise these ports I have encircled with dotted lines, and flow I have encircled, and ports I have encircled. Okay, so, and also these components I have written two-way, 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 and two-way. Okay, so these encircled, what I have done is, whenever we talk about parallelism, so it is not like that sort component, or a join component, or a reformat component, or a these components are running two-way parallel. It's not limited to that. It is also that the ports and the flows, the input port, output port, input port, and associated with these components also running in parallel, or also functioning in parallel mode. So first output port of partition by k component, internally, not it won't be shown into the in the graph design, but internally what is happening is, so there will be two flows parallel whenever partition from the partition by key component into the sort input port. So the input port of sort will be running in two-way parallel, running or functioning, whatever it has to do. So it will be doing it as a two-way, and the component itself is running in two-way parallel. Okay, and then so whenever it has to output, then those things will be done in parallel. So output data output would also function as a two-way parallel. So this is another thing. Okay. So, okay, and then we have a skew. Skew as a component. Skew is the degree of imbalance of data. So if we talk about partition by key component, so partition by key component will be partition based on particular key. Okay, it will have a hash algorithm which will be applied on the input data set, and based on key it will be putting the data to the different partitions. So if in case we have a imbalance of data, so if we have a, let's say 10 records, and for a particular key there are 8 records, and for another key there are only one. There are three keys. For one key there are 8 records, and then another key there is one record, and then third key will have one record, and there is a highly kind of skewed data set. So if we multiply, let's say if not a 10 records, it's a millions of record, then because if we are going to achieve the data parallelism, and we have highly skewed data, it's no meaning. So we have 90% of data which is going to, into and we will ask one partition to process, or one host computer to process 90% of data, and rest two hosts are processing only 5% data. And this is not fair, and this is not efficient achievement of the data parallelism in our processing. So therefore we need to avoid the skew. Why we can How we can avoid it? So we have to sit and think that whether we need partition by key component. We have various partition and other by components available, whether we could use a partition by round robin for some of the processing. And then when we achieve some kind of different set of data which is not skewed, then we could use the partition by key component later point in time. Or probably we could enlarge our key. Let's say we are assorting partition by key component using on key as k1. We can make it k1 and k2, and then we can so that will help to reduce the skewness of the data set. So this is another concept, and now let's talk about the example number 2. I'm sorry. Okay, so in example number 2, I have a two-way multi-file system as input data sets, and I'm taking one of the two parallel flows, just to this is not a practical, probably may not be practical thing, but to understand the things, understand the concept. Okay, so first is partition by key component, and then I'm making from two-way to four-way, and there is a roll-up running on four-way. And when I say roll-up running on four-way is, so the layout of the roll-up component is four-way. Okay, and the four copies of running on the on parallelly. Okay, and merge. Okay, and then there is an output data set as a four-way. And the second flow, second flow is two-way, then becomes four-way using the partition by component, and then there is a join is also working. Join is taking that another IN1 input from the another data flow. Okay, and then there is a gather which makes the data into the serial data sets, or make it serialized. Okay, but our upper processing is repartitioning, and then data into the four-way multi-file system. Now, so whenever we partition the data from two-way to four-way, so then there is there is a fan out flow. So this lags, right, coming out from the uh, output port of partition by K. So this kind of structure is it will be on the flow, and this layout, this is called a fan out flow. Okay, then so then there will be a straight flow. Okay, because both are running on four-way and four-way sort, and between sort and roll up there is a straight flow. Both are running on four-way, and then there is a merge component. So there is also straight way, and this merge component is also running on four-way, and it outputting the data into the four-way multi-file system. Okay. And the lower flow, see, after join there is a fan inflow. So before gather we will have a fan inflow. So to make the data is serialized. And state we talked about already, and we will talk about all-to-all flow after that. Okay, so let's talk about the all-to-all flow. Then whenever we have to repartition the data set, okay, and we have to use the partition by key component, partition by key component, and partition by Robin component, and we have why what we need in repartitioning is we need partition by component, we need all-to-all flow, and we need some departitioning components, let's say gather or merge. Okay, so this is how we achieve, four-way multi-file system to eight-way multi-file system. So the all-to-all flow is the literal straight meaning of all-to-all flow is the data set residing on any particular partition can go to any, outbound partitions. Okay, any of those. So from all the four partitions, data can go based on key, if it is a partition by key component, or based on round robin, you know, if it is a partition by round robin component, it can go to the any of the partition. So that is called all to all flow, from all to all, from all four partition to all eight partitions, anywhere it can go. So that is all to all flow. There is no control, right, in that. But it will be conceptually, it will work on, the according to the partitioning component. Okay, that won't be deviating, but it has that liberty or independence to go to the any target partitions. Okay, and this is where we have all to all flow, and this is, output data sets. Let's talk about the layout now. So what layout signifies is why we decide the layout. So whenever we have a use case and we have a huge data sets to be processed, and we want to, take advantage of data parallelism of ab initio, then we would think on three things, like what data we have, how much volumes we have, and whether the volume is, growing volume, at what frequency is going to grow, that we need to decide upon, you know and then parallelism, what depth of parallelism we can go to, or whether the depth of parallelism which we are using can improve our graph performance, or you can, do the POC with the production like data sets, if you can do in one of the lower environment, uh, to check what depth of, performance, or depending upon the future growth of the data set, or that could be discussed with the business team or a business analyst, or probably the client architecture or architect, data architect. So, so these needs to be decided before designing the graph, or before deciding the okay, before deciding the design of the graph, and before deciding the depth of the data parallelism, and then there is a processing. So where we could process, right? Where, what is the context? Do we have only cooperative system, and we have only, Linux system available, Unix system available, or we can utilize, our HDFS nodes, or if we have, one of the clouds, or do we have containers, to utilize for the processing. So these needs to be looked at before, deciding the layout, because these are the, processing host will be the, will the place where components, actually executes. Okay, let's say this join components, let's say we have to decide the layout of these join components. So if I decide the layout, let's say four-way layout, and all the four partition are sitting on my local host, so okay, I can use the four-way MFS, and I can configure and run it parallelly. That is one way. And otherwise, I could use some of the, let's say two partitions on the local host and two in the SDFS system. SDFS nodes are available. So I could, create a MFS in such a way that there are two partitions which are sitting on the local host and two are running on the SDFS system. Okay. And if we have, everything is running on cloud system, I mean cloud host, not CyberCope will not be running on cloud system, but cloud host. So there will be a node which we can make this join component to run there, So this kind of things we can do. So the layout could be, in serial. In what case where we have, serial flow, serial input, serial output. There is no parallel processing. There is no data parallelism as such. So then the layout could be serial, and MFS where we have, local or MFS is a multi-file system if we are assigning as a layout then. And then there is a dynamic MFS layout. This is a new one. So dynamic MFS layout is uh, so it is used in, the container jobs whenever. So depending upon the context, but the jobs could run on different layouts. Maybe today the graph is running on two-way parallel, and tomorrow the same graph on production system can run on eight-way parallel. So depending upon the context, so we can configure, the graph in such a way that we can control the things of using our configuration so that our graph can run in dynamic mode, dynamic parallelism or dynamic MFS layouts. Maybe this running two-way and today and tomorrow four-way. So that is the dynamic MFS, which is a new concept. So with that, thank you so much. We'll talk more about the Ab initio in our following sessions.